The last stop in our sweets episode is here in Missouri wine country. We are visiting the Martin Brothers Winery, but don't think that we're trying grape wines. These wines are made of honey. Let's go get a taste.
I am Derek Martin, and we are here at Martin Brothers Winery. So we're the newest winery in the Herman area, just southwest of Herman, Missouri, and we exclusively make traditional meads. Mead came about in the Martin family. It was kind of a collaborative effort through the Martin Brothers. Two of us were making hobby batches in the basement and re-entered an international amateur wine competition in 2010, won a gold medal. So we're like, hey, this is pretty cool. Years after that, Patrick, our winemaker currently, graduated from Rolla with degrees in chemistry and biology, and I have a degree in mechanical engineering with a business minor, so you can already see just by those backgrounds how we complement each other. From there, we decided, hey, you know what, let's improve upon this and take a more professional approach. So opened our doors in May of 2014, and it's grown since then. Being in Herman definitely kind of helped tailor us toward the alcohol industry, and we wanted to be different, so we didn't want to do grapes. There's plenty of other historic grape wineries around us, so we wanted to do something different. So we just kind of fell into making mead, and now we just specialize in that.
Why did you choose mead?
Started with curiosity. One of my brothers was in culinary school and learning about wine, spirits, and food of the world, and we had never heard of mead before. So he made a homebrew batch, and that's what started it all. Then all of us started making homebrew batches along with him, and it just took off from there. Well, starting out on the homebrew scale, we bought a lot of local honey, but as we grew, the local suppliers were no longer enough. So we still do use some local honey, but the majority of it comes from out of state. So as the colony collapse disorder spreads more and more, the honey supplies are getting thinner and thinner nationwide. So it's a serious problem we're dealing with every day.
Mead is becoming
Correct.
like trendy.
Yes, correct. So it's becoming more and more popular. It's one of the fastest growing alcohol markets right now. It's also one of the smallest. A lot of the meaderies out there are taking more of the craft approach, which is where they'll take base mead, which is just, fermented honey, and then they'll add spices, fruits, flavorings, things on top of it. We decided to step it back further and ask ourselves the question, well, what is mead? Mead's made from honey. So we put the honey front and center. So we pick our yeast, we pick our different toasts for oaks to really highlight what's in that honey and unlock it and bring it forward for people.
So most of the time people drive up, they think they're lost because we are a little bit off the beaten path, but a lot of people describe us as a hidden gem in Herman because there's something different or something new. So a lot of people come up completely unaware of where they're at or if they're in the right place, and then they'd come into a winery, and then for another shock, we make wine from honey.
When you come in, you're presented with this flight-style tasting menu. And what strikes me first is that what leads, the explanation is the type of honey that you're using. So is that how you create differentiation in the flavor?
Yes. So for all wine, including mead, which is where all winemaking started from, you have three sources of flavor. You have your fermentation material, which in our case is the honey. You have your yeast type, and you have your oak type, as well as the toast level of said oak. So you have three ingredients, all of which affect the flavor in profound ways, each in their own.
Cool, well, I'm excited to try it.
Okay, so we're gonna start with our wildflower sweet mead, which is made entirely from wildflower honey. So you're probably more familiar with wildflower honey than you think. It's the same honey that's produced by our local beekeepers nationwide. That's also the same honey we find in grocery stores. So it's that familiar honey-like flavor. So it's surprising, with this being made from that it's incredibly fruit-forward, with a nice, rich apricot note right up front, followed by crisp green apple.
That's delicious.
So this next one, our wildflower dry, made from the exact same wildflower honey. However, this time we used a different yeast. So for example, this yeast, unlike the first one, consumes every last drop of sweetness. It also gives it a different flavor profile entirely. So this one's incredibly citrus forward, with a nice crisp lemon note right up front, followed by roasted almonds and a hint of vanilla.
So the flavor profiles of these two, both made with the wildflower honey, are incredibly different. The aromas are entirely different.
Yes.
It's fun to be able to try these side by side, knowing that they're made with the same base ingredient. In the same way that it's fun to taste wine side by side when they're vinified differently, but they're using the same grapes. So how do you choose your yeasts?
So choosing the yeast is absolutely critical. So just like winemaking, you want to pick a yeast that will retain all of the varietal character of the material you are fermenting. So for us, how we start out, we start with the honey. We taste the honey, we decide what kind of flavors are in there that we like. So very similar to photography, you have a picture in mind. Now, how you capture that picture is where the artistry and science comes in. So you taste this honey, it tastes like X, Y, and Z. And it also has A, B, and C in there as well. So you want to pick and choose from those to have that complete flavor balance. So you pick a yeast that will retain these flavors, but also remove these, for example. So you can tailor the different flavor molecules that are in the honey based upon the yeast type you choose. This one made entirely from orange blossom honey. We picked a yeast variety that was very neutral for this one, that would just strip away some of that sweetness, revealing that rich floral bouquet on the nose.
Again, it is so dramatically different. You really do get that orange quality. It's almost an orange zest, and you have a bit of that like just beautiful kind of delicate floral quality to it.
Hard to believe all that was locked in just the honey, wasn't it?
Wow. So is this the variety that's going to be tough next year?
So this one specifically, due to the Zika virus popping up in Florida and with the drought in California that's been going on prevalently. So on one hand, you've got the bees being wiped out with colony collapse disorder and insecticide use for human protection. And then you have the orange trees being wiped out in California due to drought. So you have three factors that are making the orange blossom honey difficult to get a hold of.
That's delicious. I feel very special that I had a chance to try some.
So do we. So do we.
So what would you say to somebody who's like, I don't like sweet wine. I don't like sweet drinks. How would you encourage them to try mead?
Unfortunately, there's a few wine writers out there who have programmed people that sweet wines are cheap wines. There are some really premium sweet wines out there, and they are more versatile than just dessert wines.
Well, I think it's important to understand that sweet does not mean low quality.
Correct.
And they're incredibly complex, so don't let the term sweet throw you off.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. And just like wines, I mean, grapes start very sweet on the vine. A lot of people think there's dry grapes. That doesn't exist. All grapes are sweet before they're fermented, same thing with honey. The end result's what really matters, to pull out those flavors and do it justice via capturing whatever flavor profile that you see in the starting material.